1 week to go until AQA paper 1. So in this video, it's a crucial video for you all as you're gearing up for that paper. Let's have a sesh and dive straight into the details. First things first, let's talk about what you need to focus on for paper 1. It's going to be covering units 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's a lot on your plate, so buckle up and let's get started. Now the first thing, very, very important, that this is not a prediction video. We're not here to guess what might show up on the exam. Instead, we recommend strongly revising everything in your specification, cover your bases thoroughly and leave no stone unturned. But the first thing we're going to look at is examiners' favourites. So examiners' favourites, these are topics that have featured frequently on exam papers in the last 5 years. Make sure you pay special attention to these areas. They could be the key to unlocking some extra marks. The second thing we'll look at, as is the name of the video, cold topics. These are sub-zero topics that have either never featured or barely featured in an exam in the last 5 years. And while it's tempting to overlook them, a surprise question might just pop up on these topics, so don't ignore these cold topics, give them the attention they deserve. The third and final area we'll look at is those trending titans. These are titanic topics that may get more airtime this year, so ensure they are covered as part of your revision. You never know what might become of these. They could be the highlight of your exam. So Unit 1 is on business in the real world. Let's look at the examiner's favourite. So the examiner's favourite here has been methods of expansion. That's business expansion, growth essentially. Examiners love to test your understanding on the pros and the cons of different growth methods used by businesses. That would be organic or internal growth or external growth, the two types of methods of expansion, methods of growth. Now organic growth we'll deal with first. Well, that involves strategies like franchising, like outsourcing, like opening new stores, and of course expanding through e-commerce. Now knowing the ins and outs of each of these methods is the key to acing this section. On the flip side, we've got external growth. External growth, which includes mergers and takeovers. Now you need to understand here that businesses strategically expand through these methods, and that examiners will want to see that you know not only the definitions, but you can analyse and evaluate the implications of each of these. Looking to cold topics. So cold topics for Unit 1. Well, the first is reasons for starting a business. So this topic may not have had a starring role in recent years, but it's the foundation of entrepreneurship. And answers for this question would involve producing goods, supplying services, distributing products, fulfilling a business opportunity, or providing a good or service to benefit others. The next cold topic that's barely featured, never featured in fact, is not-for-profit organisations. So not-for-profit organisations, remember these types of organisations operate for a purpose beyond financial gain. Their primary objective is achieving their social mission. So keep in mind their objectives differ from profit-driven entities, profit-driven organisations like public limited companies who would look to chase profit maximisation or shareholder value. The next one is the role of business objectives in running a business. Why does that matter? Well, objectives are the guiding stars. They give the business a direction, a focus, and they might even act as a motivation for employees. Think of them as the compass that keeps the organisation on the right track. Now let's defrost the next cold topic, which is objectives of stakeholders. Now owners want those high dividend payments, and employees, well, they want to maximise their pay. They are two objectives of stakeholders. Lastly, maybe there's a 9-marker on PLCs. It's never been there. Is it time for it? So it could be something along the lines of, should XYZ business convert from a private limited company to a public limited company? Recommend whether that should happen. And this decision, well, it's like walking on thin ice. The allure of enormous finance and economies of scale, if you were to say, yes, let's become a public limited company, well, that needs to be balanced against the risks of becoming a public limited company. And those risks would include additional shareholders with different objectives and potential loss of control in decision making. And that could be the crux of a 9-marker if it were to appear. Finally, trending titans. So these are topics that are huge topics that have just not really been there in recent years, and they deserve a little bit more time in the sun. So economies of scale, that's a big one. Economies of scale fits in nicely with business expansion, as we talked about before. Remember, a growing business will likely benefit from economies of scale, which will mean it can lower its average unit costs. Lowering your average unit costs, this might allow the business to reduce its prices in a competitive market, or if it's in an uncompetitive market, it might leave its prices unchanged. But by lowering your average cost per unit, you've increased your profit margin per unit. Now, when we think about economies of scale, there's two types of economies of scale. Numero uno is purchasing economies of scale, and dos is technical economies of scale. Purchasing is essentially bulk buying. Technical is the introduction of capital to improve productivity and therefore improve efficiency. Revise this one. Unit 2, examiner's favourites. So a Unit 2 examiner's favourite is ethical considerations. Examiners want you to identify and analyse the trade-off between ethics and profit in businesses. Very possibly for a business, the more ethical it becomes, the more its costs rise and the less its profits. So there is a conflict, there is a trade-off. So it's about balancing fairness, balancing honesty with stakeholders against the bottom line being the net profit, the bottom line of the income statements, for stakeholders such as shareholders or the owners. Now, the other favourite topic in Unit 2 is environmental considerations. Those considerations to be aware of are traffic congestion, recycling, waste disposal, noise pollution, air pollution, and your job is to grasp how businesses and consumers take on greater environmental responsibility in decision making, but crucially understand the costs and benefits of doing so. Cold topics for Unit 2. Well, the main cold topic for Unit 2 is analysing the impact of more competition on a business. So the theoretical impact of more competition on a business is likely as so. Its market share may fall. It may reduce prices. It may need to innovate more. It may need to advertise more. It may need to become more operationally efficient. Maybe it introduces lean. Maybe it introduces just in time. It may need to improve quality levels. It may need to improve its customer service. This might lead to it reducing its profits, but it will depend on the existing customer loyalty. Is it weak? Is it strong? If it's strong, great. If it's weak, that's a problem. You might also want to consider, does the business have a USP to be able to keep those customers despite the increase in competition? Trending titans for Unit 2. Well, one trending titan certainly stands out, and that's exchange rates. Is this a higher tariff question this year? Now, SPICed is the mnemonic to get you through this. SPICed stands for strong, pound, imports cheap, exports dear. So let's start with a strong pound, an appreciating pound, an increasing pound. What does it mean? Well, it's great news for UK businesses that are in the import game. With a strong pound, importing becomes more affordable. Goods and services from abroad become cheaper, giving businesses a cost advantage. But, and there's always a but, a strong pound isn't all sunshine. For businesses exporting from the UK, it's a bit of a challenge. A strong pound makes our exports more expensive for other countries, potentially leading to a decline in demand. Now let's flip the script on that. It's a weak pound now, a depreciating pound, a declining pound in value. This scenario is great for UK businesses who are exporters. A weaker pound makes our exports more affordable for other countries, potentially boosting demand and sales for those products and services, giving them more ability to increase profits on a global stage. However, if you've got a weak pound and you're in the import game, well then the weak pound is a problem for you. Importing becomes pricier, businesses may face increased costs which can affect profit margins. Exchange rates, be all over it. Unit 3 is business operations. Here we're looking at the examiner's favourites. So big examiner's favourites is job, flow and lean production. Job production involves the creation of customised and unique products in small batches. Flow production focuses on continuous, standardized mass production, mass being loads of production, while lean production is something slightly different, which is about reducing waste, combining efficiencies for the business, maybe through continuous improvement principles, Kaizen you might be thinking about there, to create value in the manufacturing process. Just in time and just in case, also big examiners' favourites. Just in time is a stock management technique aimed at minimising stock by delivering components and goods precisely when needed. Whereas the opposite of just in time is just in case, which involves holding surplus inventory, surplus stock as a precautionary measure to mitigate against potential disruptions. Maybe your deliveries don't come when you want them. Maybe you can't trust your logistics, so you need to have just in case. Or you've got unexpected increases, unexpected surges in demand. You didn't expect to be having so many customers trying to buy that product. So maybe if there's any risk of that, just in case might make sense. Cold topics for business operations. Procurement and logistics, for sure. So procurement involves the buying of goods and services, and logistics encompasses the management of their efficient movement. It's essentially transportation, but it is also the storage of those goods and services, those components, those raw materials. The key for both of these is both of them aim to do this: improve efficiency and therefore reduce unit costs. They're there to make the business more efficient. Now, another cold topic is looking at the benefits of good customer service within a business. And the benefits of good customer service would be increased customer satisfaction, increased customer loyalty, increased spend per visit on the website, per visit in the shop, and increased profitability. 4 super strands for supermarks. Trending titans for business operations. Definitely the factors affecting the choice of suppliers. Thinking QPR, quality, price, reliability. These factors play a pivotal role in shaping a business's decision-making process when choosing suppliers. The final unit for this paper is human resources, HR. The examiner's favourites here is organisational structures, making it imperative for students to thoroughly grasp key concepts such as span of control, chain of command, delayering, delegation, all of those, know them, and furthermore be on top of the pros and the cons of tall and flat structures, again likely to feature, examiner's favourite. Cold topics for Unit 4, be on top of this one, we're thinking really benefits of recruitment and selection, so why it could be important for a business to hire the right people, and that will be because it's going to lead to higher productivity, higher quality, better output, or improved customer service, improved staff retention. They're all good things about hiring the right people for your business. And finally, the trending titans for HR, well, centralisation and decentralisation. So both of these are big HR concepts, barely featured in recent years. One may well suit a bullet point, perhaps in a 12 marker. So knowing the positive impacts of introducing each would be important in that eventuality. So the benefits of introducing centralisation would be faster decision making. You've got a clear picture of where the responsibility lies, cost savings. And then on the decentralisation side, well, benefits there, it will be decision making could be made by local experts. It might lead to employees feeling empowered because you're delegating there, and it might lead to potential motivation gains, productivity gains as a consequence. There you go, you've got it. All the cold topics for paper 1 for the 14th of May. Remember, success is born from preparation. Study hard, stay focused, give it your best shot. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that button below, subscribe for more content, share it with your fellow students. Best of luck, and I'll see you at the final sesh soon.